All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. Now, I have a theory about Jon Jones, and I'm going to share that with you guys, okay? Now, this whole thing that happened with the spouse is only very superficially even related to it. It's just the catalyst where I started putting some things together, and all of a sudden I was kind of like, oh, I think I know. I think I know why he's sitting out, right? Because that's what the point of this video is going to be, is why has Jon been sitting out this long, right? Because I think everybody thought he was negotiating for a while. And that's basically what I thought. And then a lot of things kind of got into a line for me where now I'm embarrassed I didn't think about this from the beginning, but I've got a theory. Now, before I get into that, let me just say this. I did multiple videos about Jon here. So I'm not trying to harp on Jon Jones. As a matter of fact, I'm going to prove to you that I'm not, because here I'm going to share with you guys a private message that I sent to someone kind of like in his vicinity right after it first happened. So he first got arrested. They said it was domestic battery. And this is the message that I sent to them. Okay. And I'm going to cut off who it is, but you can see this is obviously real. Okay. So here's what I said. Not sure if you spoke to him yet, but off the record either way, Jon just probably punched someone's car or something, right? Obviously he wouldn't hit a woman. They throw that domestic battery charge around very loose. Over half the time it means damaged property. Jon is a lot of things, but unless my ability to read people is vastly exaggerated in my mind, I'd be willing to bet my life Jon would die having never hit a woman with the intent to hurt her. Now, would I put that up there? I'm always talking, oh, my ability to read people. I mean, this doesn't look good for my ability to read people, but that's what my instincts were. Just looking at Jon as a person and going there's no way this guy would hurt a woman, right? That's really what I believed. So, I never had some vendetta against him. And the point I'm making here is this theory I'm going to lay out. I don't know. I don't see how you would be able to, I don't see how you'd be able to string it together as calling it a positive thing, but it's just something that I think is highly likely now. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Now here you go. So I talked to a lot of people about that night, right? A bunch of people had talked to me about it, and some people, are industry people, so I know they're telling the truth. But all they had to say, basically, all one for one, all of them said the same thing. They were like, Jon looks good, man. They're like, he looks big, he looks thick, he looks good. That was the only thing that I heard from them. They didn't have any insight in any of this other stuff. Now, this other guy brought something to me, and people bring stuff to me in the comments all the time. And I'm starting to get pretty good at being able to sniff out who actually is an insider and who is just some, rando in the comments that's just trying to get me to respond to them. And I believe this story that this guy told me only because it's not the kind of thing that you would make up. And basically what he said was that one of his best friends was hanging out with Jon that night, earlier in the night, and that he felt super guilty when he saw what happened, because basically this guy and his buddies were getting Jon to take shots, right? It was they got Jon super wasted, is essentially what the story was. And without getting into all the details, he basically said, dude, Jon, he said that Jon is the best guy ever. He's the coolest dude in the world. He was so nice, laughing the whole time, having an amazing time, but they were pounding shots. They were getting him shots. And I thought about that. I was like, dude, this guy, literally, if you think back to all the problems Jon's had, it all comes down to one. He cannot drink, dude. That's it. You just cannot drink. And here's the thing. Booze, it's hilarious to me how booze is the one drug that's legal. If you really think about what these drugs actually do to you, it's if you had legal opioids as an example, and people just take pills, they'd be lazy, and they would, watch TV and be super nice to everybody, right? It's obviously different when they're doing fentanyl or injecting stuff, but get someone that's hooked on Norcos, they're just kind of yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of not being super effective. You get someone on smoking weed, what they're gonna, they're gonna eat a lot of food and laugh at stuff, but the one that's legal is booze. It turns you into a psychopath. I know a lot of people just kind of get happy when I actually am one of those people. You get me drunk, I just make jokes and laugh. But I'll get tired and fall asleep, which is why I don't really like drinking very much. But other people, it turns them into a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And I have buddies that are they are literally a different person. An actual, for real, different person pre 5 drinks, post 5 drinks, where you're This guy's my best friend. I would trust this guy to drive through fire to help me out. This guy, it's not impossible that he's going to accidentally stab me with a knife. Like, seriously, he's that reckless. Or he's joking around with knives. He's cut people a million times. It's like, they are not the same person. They're just not the same person. And so I just, look, I could say, like, anything that happened relating to that incident is not excusable, obviously, but I think I should at least qualify that I do know a lot of people personally where it's hard to even hold them accountable for any other decision than that you shouldn't have been drinking. Like that is basically the decision to hold them accountable for. Dude, you can't drink, dude. Like, you are not a guy that, I know it's legal and I know it's everywhere, but have you not figured out that every time that you drink, you end up wrapping your fucking car around a pole? And I'm talking about my buddy. I'm not even talking about John. Like, these guys, like, they turned into a different person. Anyway, so I'm just at least going to throw that out there, that maybe John's, all he needs to do is just stop drinking, is all I'm saying. But what I want to talk about with this particular video is why John is sitting out, okay? So I put all this stuff together, right? Like, all the things that people were saying, which were, John looks huge. John looks thick. Like, he looks good, right? That. And then again with the, like, this incident that seems very out of character with his fiance. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at least that he's hurting her, but what do I know, right? But, like, it seemed out of character. And then I was like, wait, so he was going to sit out. He was ready to fight, right? He's like, give me the heavyweight fight. And then all of a sudden he's like, never mind. I need a year. I need a year or a year and a half, and then I'll be ready. I was like, okay, so I thought he was negotiating. Now I think something different, okay? Now what I think is highly, well, I don't know, possible. Here's something, okay, I'll just say I'm speculating. That maybe what he's doing is he's giving himself enough time to do an enormous cycle of juice, get all that mass and speed, and then have enough time to get it all the way out of his system, right? So he's going to get the big, thick, heavyweight muscle. He'll lose 50% of it after he gets off, or 60% even, but he'll keep 40%, right? So that's what I'm theorizing now, actually. When you look at, like, the time he needs off, that's all I can make sense of. And everybody's like, man, he looks huge, dude. He looks good. Really? So, like, that's what I think it might be. Anyway, that's my speculation. He's doing a big cycle, then he's going to take enough time to where it'll test out of his system. But here's the thing. I don't even know if he's in the USADA testing pool. I have no idea. If John Jones is if John Jones is being tested, then obviously this is a nonsensical theory. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if anybody can tell me in the comments, if John Jones is still in the testing pool, then this is nonsense, what I'm saying. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing it's highly possible that he's still in the USADA testing pool. But either way, and if he's not, then maybe it really is, like, train your balls, like give him enough time to really thicken out, and that's possible too. So either he's cheating or he's not. As I'm getting to the end of this video, it's like, well, this is a completely pointless video because I have no insight one way or the other. So anyway, that is my theory of what might be happening. But anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Peace.